Welcome in to the blockchain basement. This is going to be just an absolutely fantastic show. Buckle up. We got massive Solana news that just broke right before we went live. Also, whispers about a potential replacement for Jerome Powell of the Federal Reserve. Trump administration is taking aim at this position. We'll see if they find their replacement over the next few weeks here. Bitcoin riding some pretty important price levels. We're going to be taking a look at that as well, potentially even putting in a live trade. And Mr. Isaac on the sticks with
Indeed.
the FAFO shirt.
With the FAFO shirt.
Love
Shout
it.
out.
Absolutely love it, man. I'm shaking
America.
off an absolutely insane night. I'm out here in Denver, Colorado. Went to Metallica last night. Completely sold out, like record-breaking sellout show. It's seating capacity of like 75,000 for concerts. The place was absolutely jam-packed. It was the biggest concert Metallica's ever had in Denver. I caught it live last night, shaking it off, had a great time with the wife, and didn't look at the charts here for a minute just over the weekend with all the travel here. But you know what? This is an image from the show. We got to show this real quick. Make sure you're following me at Druth Crypto here. This was right before Metallica started. A freaking thunderstorm moved back behind this corner here. It was like lightning as they played, Isaac. It was literally like a life-changing concert.
Why does every single Metallica concert end up with storms and lightning?
Dude, they're just that aura, bro. They just got that aura. You know, the Lord knows to bring it for them. So make sure you follow me on X at Druth Crypto. And also make sure that you are subscribed to our channel here at the Blockchain Basement on YouTube as well. Let's show this. And I want to give a shout out to the chat here, you guys. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. My God, it's been a while here. Who do we got up in the chat? We got Crypto Stevo, Willis Wilsford, Green Day Profits. Good morning, my man. Groff. Alexander G. Good to see you. Crypto Glass Works. Oh, man. I'm just... Injustice for All was my first concert. Saw that tour twice. So sick. You know, a huge shout out to Metallica. Isaac, have you ever seen them?
Not live, no.
Man, you're missing out, bro. Let's make it happen. So now there's a lot of things going on as far as the United States is building barricades around the White House and the Treasury building. We're going to talk about the potential nasty stuff that might be on the horizon. Look at the different reasons for why they actually might be shutting down the actual, access points to the federal, not just the White House, it's the Treasury building, right? So very, very interesting. Read my effing comments. What is Willis Word saying? How do I know?
Willis, if I go to X and I see nothing about Solana staking ETF approved, I'm banning you.
Bro, no, it happened. He's talking some shit that's real. Like Solana ETF, it does look like they're going to have staking. That came out right before we went live on the show. And, Solana with staking is something that we've looked at in terms of like ETH needed that staking to create that hyper FOMO. We do have Solana moving very, very aggressively after the news. Let's head on over to CoinMarketCap, have a look at the landscape here. So Solana currently sitting in number 6, but really this is number 5 if you're discounting the stablecoin Tether. Solana is up 2.7% on the day, but 2.2% on the hour. A major pump just in a very short amount of time is what's major about this. News is moving quickly about Solana and this staking ETF coming live. I think Solana's got a lot going for it in terms of AI. And within the Solana ecosystem, that Marinade staking landing pad, I think, is going to be a very, very strong position to hold as this all unravels here. So Marinade's coming in at 14 cents right now, just about 15 cents. And this is the monthly, pretty flat. You haven't really missed out on anything crazy within the year, which is good to note. And you know me, I like covering these projects when they haven't already taken off yet, instead of having everyone going and chasing green candles and falling off the top of a mountain. So this one, Marinade, I think is going to be pretty integral to the conversation of staking on Solana. A lot of institutional interest in staking, and companies and organizations that have hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars, 5% a year on that. That's just like incredible, right? And some of these staking services, they're going to be very, very competitive with the current infrastructure of treasuries, which is why you see the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent being so open and adamant to an adoption of crypto rather than a fight, because, in my opinion, they would lose. You get higher yield out of the private sector decentralized finance than you do within the centralized version of treasury bills, T-bills. That's just something to think about here. What up, Crypto Steve-O? Yeah, Marinade, I think, is going to pump very, very soon. It's got some insane fundamentals behind it, but it not only does it have the fundamentals, but it is plugged directly under the main focus right now is Solana in the staking, but a lot of those baskets of staking happen on Marinade. So keep an eye out on this. The grander market right now, are we sitting at 107.4 already? Oh my gosh, we're bouncing a little bit. Okay.
On L Bank 107.2.
Yeah. Let's hop on over here to the charts. Let's check this out, because I was watching something. There is a strong amount of final, death blow to long liquidity at $106,500. Let's go back over to the liquidity levels and see if these still remain. They do still remain. So right below us at $106,500, essentially is that final nasty washout we could see to have clear skies to the upside, or it could psyop us all and just start bouncing right there. Bitcoin's a wild bird, and she's been pretty wild over the weekend here. Very interesting price action. I was watching the charts, and really, we did get this 15-minute entry point signal, so that went off right as we went live here. But let's look at the larger time frames. It's been very, very interesting to watch this. So what we're doing, we have slightly progressive higher highs being built in this local range. The recent peak at $108,800. There is strong selling pressure when we get to these ranges. There is no denying this. We are getting to essentially the top echelon of our previous all-time high, which, the barrier to gigapump sensation and nonstop pumpulation. I wanted to say something way worse there. Is basically at $110,000 on up. That is the range where, macro bull traders are trying to wait for to have confirmation on a continued bull market. If we're looking at Bitcoin and what I saw just on the weekly, last week we did have a little scare. And so we're going to talk about it here. We're going to talk about it. Bitcoin on the weekly chart, we had put in a red dot, but this was helped to be created essentially by the Iran shutting down of the Strait of Hormuz and tensions within Iran and Israel. Really, we found that peak here at $112,100 and came close to tapping the 200-day moving average on the weekly. A nice flush out. And during that time frame, we did have this midterm red dot printed, but guess what? The next week after that, 1 week later, we're printing a green dot. Money flow does look like it is still swooping back on up to the upside. So in aggregate, there are many, many reasons to be bullish on Bitcoin and its price action from a, just a TA standpoint. On the daily MACD, the sell-off wave got weaker and weaker. It bounced right off this midpoint. Now these moving averages are moving on their way up. And we are starting the process of testing out how big of a positive impulse wave we can have on the MACD on the daily. And 4 hour, just within the next day or two, this is what I'm watching and being real careful about is just I'm at a pretty important price level, because if we lose that 106.5 spot, it's a quick ride down to this point of control at 105.5. 105.5 is a pretty strong point of control for this current range. So it is a level that I'm being very mindful of as far as ensuring that we hold that as support. But in general, having fun watching the charts. And, while we're on the air, Isaac, if you can, just let me know if it falls to that 106.4 level. I think
Seems
that's
good.
a level to try it out on,
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get this
You setting
charted
the
out
alert?
myself.
All right.
Yeah, sir.
Man, getting out of Atlanta was a little crazy. We got hit by floods on Friday. And so
Oh, yeah.
the floods caused a lot of people to cancel their work. They couldn't show up to work. And so a bunch of flights were getting delayed and canceled. There's a lot of people that have been at the airport for quite some
That was
time.
a
So really
that was a
thankful.
fun storm.
Oh, dude, it was absolutely crazy. It's absolutely
Yeah.
crazy. I'm just happy to be all set up. We're going to be out here in Denver for the week. We're still doing the shows, of course. And of course, what other Monday would be set without seeing Michael Saylor top blast another giant bag of Bitcoin? Strategy acquired about 5,000 Bitcoin for over $500 million at $106,800 per share and increased his yield, yada yada yada, all these things, just further stacking, man. They hold now 600,000 Bitcoin, essentially. Massive bag. um Insane to think about. Arc of Intelligence has confirmed that they have at least a majority of their bag, which I know is a concern for people. Watching these whales hammer into buys on Bitcoin while retail's asleep is probably the biggest psyop I've ever seen or imagined in my life. Isaac, did we imagine a world where we'd be hanging out above $100,000 Bitcoin and people are still searching for Taylor Swift more than Bitcoin? Does it bother you?
I mean, yeah, it kind of does bother me because when we were first hitting like 90K back in January and all that stuff, people were freaking out. Crypto
Right.
attention at its all-time high. Now we're sitting like $3,000 under all-time highs, and people would rather go do literally anything else but
Right.
learn crypto and understand what Bitcoin is as a whole, and buy Bitcoin and obviously buy other altcoins and stuff like that. It's crypto right now.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah.
It's
It sucks that people kind of think it's boring too, because like even in this boring time frame, like we've sharpened our movements on trading by leaps and bounds. We have DeFi, whole teams of people talking about their DeFi plays. DeFi Crypto and Airdrops, our partner channel with Veteran Crypto out there running that. There are so many different ways to make money in crypto. It's just absolutely insane that people are asleep on this. I feel so empowered flying around, and I can put in a trade on my exchange. I'm my own little Federal Reserve here. So it's and if you aren't in the Discord, please, I have to get back to Reggie and get him the discount code. The discount codes for all of the DeFi, all of the everything, or you can sign up with us to trade on Blowfin or LBank and get in on the trading chats and the trading videos for free. No, I know Josh was doing some trades while I was gone. I'm getting in the mix of it. But I take Mondays in. I kind of soak Mondays in. I want to get the feel for the price action before I really get things going here. And definitely seeing this whale buying $64 million worth of Bitcoin over the weekend has definitely helped set the pace. We did have that absolute cinema that I was looking for over the weekend with Bitcoin. It hit $108,800. Since then, wow, we have researched, Isaac. We are turning this 4-hour green. Holy cow.
crazy work.
Look at that. Absolutely wild. Absolutely
Got a
wild.
little tiny bit of breaking news here. It's just a scam warnings that you might receive. I just received a text saying that my Apple account security has been breached. Unusual activity, and there's charges, and they give you a bunch of links and all this other stuff.
Really?
Yeah, from weird emails. I just got it. So there's a new Apple security alert scam going around with all this new data breach. With this data breach that happened the other day, last week.
Yeah.
With all the passwords and all that stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. I literally just received it like 30 seconds ago. So
yeah. All right. Good looking out. God, everyone wants me to take a look at the Solana chart. Are we still moving up
let's
from that
do it.
one spot?
Look at the Solana chart.
Look at the Solana chart. You sickos.
Look at the Solana
you
chart.
Solana sickos.
I know that's great, isn't it? Oh my god.
Oh my god. I'm crashing out over that. All right. So what, we're at 5%. That's good. We're trying to hit that 160. CZ can almost get let out of prison if it breaches $200. Yeah.
If only Drift could follow.
People
Scam.
saying crypto's boring. Like, what's boring about this, bro? And what's, maybe your mindset of fucking losing your entire bag, trading some meme that you YOLO your life savings into is boring to me. Because that's where I think a lot of like the bearish people in crypto come from. They're top blasting, or they went into meme coins head over heels, full ass, no, I won't keep going to this, but they went in fully exposed. And yeah, if they're missing out on stuff like this, is why you make money slowly, you protect it quickly. That's why you do this. Solana turning into dark green on the day now, breaching over that 5% upside. Holy shit. Abs keep CZ in the slammer.
Great idea.
The world was simpler place. Now, and that's crazy. You brought up that hack attempt. Be careful out there, you guys, and also use a cold storage device. Arculus is our channel sponsor. We have a code base10. Click link in our description. Use cold storage to keep your crypto. Okay, don't and I use a balance of cold storage and getting involved with Bitcoin IRA, another great channel partner. You can take advantage of the cold storage device and a Bitcoin IRA setup here. It's just, you got to be careful out there, and you got to have ways to actually hold your crypto for a long time, as these scammers, I mean, the attention will come back, and when the attention comes back, the FOMO starts coming in, then they start going hammer town with the scams again. So make sure to reach out to Bitcoin IRA, let them know the blockchain basement sent you. Now back to the world at large. Let's see here. We got Europool busting a crypto fraud ring, laundering 460 million euros from 5,000 victims. 5 people arrested in Spain in a coordinated operation with the United States, Estonia, and France. So a pretty big crypto scam getting busted out here in Europol, in just the United European Union. It doesn't say the exact location if it's Estonia or France. Probably one of those locations, but a whole hell of a lot of victims right there. 5,000 people all getting defrauded out of their crypto. Now, a nation, Bhutan, and its wallet. And this is a country that has quite a bit of Bitcoin. As we were talking about on the Discover Crypto channel, they sent 137 Bitcoin to a Binance wallet. They still hold over $1.3 billion in Bitcoin. It will be interesting to see if some of the kind of smaller nations that have been quietly stacking Bitcoin start to dump it in this 100K plus region, right, to try to balance out their fiat currency. This is where nation states have got involved. Let's see if they have the balls to hold type moment here. But who's setting the pace for all this? BlackRock now makes more money from its Bitcoin ETF than any other ETF product that BlackRock has out there. The IBIT earns more than even IVV, BlackRock's SPX 500 ETF, that is 10 times larger than their Bitcoin holdings. Now, that amount of gain in a bag that is smaller than what they handle on the SPX 500 with, they absolutely are crushing it in terms of profits. This is going to lead to more Wall Street FOMO. This is going to lead to more hungry salesmen working on their current investors to make the switch, make the dip, and back a little bit of their portfolio on Bitcoin. So don't be so harsh on us, Drew. I'm not trying to be harsh on us, Crypto Glass. This is the lesson. It's the lesson that we all take. And I got burned on many meme coins, but I wasn't even over 1% of my portfolio. I couldn't do it. Isaac, you know me.
Yep. Yeah, I know. And I wasn't even really in. There was a couple times where I was like deep in the Solana meme coin trenches, but
yeah,
that faded away pretty quickly. I mean,
it does. It does.
You don't want to be considered the LA Vape Cabal, okay? If you're considered one of the LA Vape Cabal members, I can't say what I want to say about it, but
what? Come on,
because it involves some not so nice words.
Oh,
I'm going to refrain from. Okay,
right,
but I mean, you don't want to be considered an LA Vape Cabal member. They're looked at as scum in the crypto world.
Well, and it's an interesting thing. We got to find a way to retain our value. We see BlackRock, they're going to be shilling this ETF setup real hard. And now I'll bring this down. It's so bright out here. It's kind of nice, actually. We have this, just a reminder on what we're trying to escape here. The purchasing power of the US dollar over time. This, since inception, has essentially rugged like a meme coin. U.S. money supply grew by $3.8 trillion in 2020. This is a complete underestimation. And this data, now that we've done the big print, and doubling our money supply basically cuts this height in half for the buying power. So the US dollar is the meme coin going to zero as well. So it's like this interesting balance where people see their buying powers going to zero and they want to find investments in crypto, but you got to do it in a mindful way. And if you're brand new to crypto, just Bitcoin, learn about what crypto is, take your time to educate yourself, and then make a dip out there if need be. If you feel like, a fraction of a percent of your portfolio can get exposure to insane low market cap memes, have at it. Just be reasonable about it. That's my approach in this, and it always has been. Now, Bitcoin adoption is surging by 600% in Bolivia, another nation, after currency depreciation is happening. Just as the graph I just showed you for the American dollar, it's exponentially worse in a lot of other nations. So people are finding a way to protect their buying power across the world with Bitcoin. Now we have Bessent in this conversation. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that tariffs have not driven inflation up, and the replacement for federal Chair Jerome Powell may be appointed in the next few weeks here. Isaac, you think they're actually going to do it? Think they're going to be able to replace Jerome Powell? Is he going to put his feet in the ground and just be like, no, I ain't leaving?
I actually think there's a chance. I think there's a chance. It's a very slim chance. I would
Yeah.
say it's like, as of right now, I would say it's like 40-60. 60 he stays.
40-60.
40 he
Let's
gets
say
kicked.
you in the chat. Let us know in the chat. Do you think they're actually going to do this? It may be worth the poll. This is a big thing to be talking about, replacing the chair Jerome Powell. If he's willing to step down, that's something you can pull off. But the Federal Reserve is quite a independent, strong system that is only sitting at the behest of the oversight of the Congress of the U.S., not the president. So it will be interesting to see that. We have Trump coming out saying that interest rates should be at 1% to 2%. Honestly, if there was monetary responsibility of this country, they should be 7-8%. Honestly, bro. We just live in backwards world where we have to keep printing our way out of our problems. And right before the weekend hit, Trump was putting up a little bit of a hard-sided message to Canada and their premier. Now it does look like this little spat has been solved, and we will resume trade talks here in the United States with Canada over the coming weeks. We'll stay posted for that, but honestly, it's something I do expect them to get buttoned up. Something I didn't expect, though. Isaac, have you heard about this? What's happening in Washington, D.C.?
Briefly, very briefly.
All right, let's dive into it. So we have posts here. This is from Ben Pocken. He's in D.C. for a work trip. Some high metal fencing went up today around the White House, Lafayette Square. Secret Service agents told him that it was for renovations of the ground in preparation for July 4th. So they're putting up large metal barricade fences that are actually pretty sizable. Talking about 8 feet here. 100% ID check. We're setting up restricted areas around the White House. This kind of looks like Resident Evil. Not going to lie.
Just a little bit.
It looks like we're walking into the front entry point for Resident Evil right now. But this is where it's being set up. Now, something else that's happening, and I found very, very curious, is that they are building perimeters around Treasury building here. So we have 2 different kind of barrier setups being built up around the Treasury and the White House. Let's see if I can pull up this imagery of the Treasury as well. Very, very curious times. A lot of things are moving. There's a lot of news moving about this, and it's moving quick. But there is lots of speculation here. So here is this. Crews erecting barricades outside of the Treasury and the White House. So these are the same kind of barriers. They're building both these around these major government institutions for anticipation of July 4th, right? And so now let's take a look at what the threats that are being conversated out there really are. In April 2024, there was a bioterror simulation that predicted a July 4th, 2025 attack on Americans and pets. Many, many lost here in these kind of prediction models, infecting 500,000 Americans with a deadly infectious disease. Some scientists involved were linked to the gain of function research that was done out there in Wuhan. and it could potentially be a warning to what is coming. But you know what? The best way to release a CBDC is to bring the people to their knees. And while we're all distracted by our, this is the crazy thing. Let's back up a second, Isaac. So over the last few weeks, we've been all eyes on these bombs going off, right? And just a little volley between Iran and Israel. And then we dropped, the bunker buster from the B2. But while that was all going on, and everyone's like, are we in World War III? Are we not in World War III? The Genius Bill moves forward. Now, the Genius Bill, it's moving and labeled kind of that it's meant for stable coins, right? It's not meant for CBDCs. No, right? Florida's made those illegal, and a couple other states have already preemptively moved to make those illegal. But it's always been my thought that this Circle system, this system of control that Circle is building out, we're probably looking at the next stable coin / CBDC for America already, with USDC just federally regulated and able to work with the Treasury to open the Treasury's ability to print crypto on top of the Federal Reserve. So not only will we have the Federal Reserve printing money, but we'll have the Treasury in God mode using stable coins to buy Treasury bonds. And we have a dual printing, exponentially worse situation for our debt crisis. And this is how you bring people to their knees with all of this craziness they're warning about on July 4th. There's a concern that they are going to have to pull some major things off to bring people to the level where they will accept a CBDC into their life. That is where the Hegelian dialogue, the problem, the solution. You have the thesis, antithesis, and solution when you have Hegelian dialect. And now this is all going on in the background. I want to take a moment to check this out. This is talking about central bank digital currencies and where they actually might end up going.
So what people don't realize is there's over 100 countries that are developing their own central bank digital currency, and that's built on blockchain. That's cryptocurrency. So in the next 2 years, I'm pretty sure most of Europe, Asia, the UK, they're in their pilot phase right now. So we're going to move from a fiat system to this new monetary system that's going to be using cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
Now, talking about that, do you think they are trying to push that narrative as well because they want to try and have more control in terms of the way money is spent? They can track it, it's traceable, and it's like they can almost punish you for doing certain things.
100%, yes. So central bank digital currencies is where it gets scary because it's programmable. It's also trackable. So every transaction that anyone makes, they can see. And it can get really scary depending on, how far, governments want to go.
See, and that's where the conversation is. How far will governments be willing to go? Well, we didn't, not too terribly long ago, see them trying to mandate a experimental therapy on the entire population of the planet. So in my opinion, they'll go pretty far to pull these kind of things off. Now, pushing this God mode ability to print for the Treasury, pushing the conversation of replacing the Federal Reserve chair, and Scott Bessent in the background. This is highlighting that he's been continuously talking about the stable coin regulation, not a CBDC, right, guys? No, it's a stable coin. Could be finalized by mid-July and expect it to boost U.S. Treasuries. He's not even being shy about what they're planning to do with this. They're telling us what they're going to do with this. And this system of automated control, well, it's moving quick. CoinLedger is reporting that there is a 758% increase in IRS warning letters sent out to U.S. crypto investors. And the Supreme Court has just rejected Coinbase's request. That Coinbase is like, hey, IRS, we don't want to automatically give you all of our customers' information without having to do it. They're basically settling it in so the IRS is in your exchange history. And there is no privacy to it. Coinbase tried to stop it. The Supreme Court rejected their bid to block the IRS from accessing this user data. Where do you think all this is going? This is leading down a path of control. I want to be bullish on this political spectrum, and yeah, we could do something great. But honestly, like, we're doing the big, beautiful bill soon. That's going to do another 10 trillion to our deficit. Nothing largely monetarily responsible is being done yet. None of the band-aids that need to be pulled off, none of the billions of dollars in fraud are being stopped. Doge found a pile of fraud. They lost $1.4 trillion in tax revenue over the last year. That's an entire year's tax revenue for the average person. They just lost track of, right? None of this has been fixed. All we see is just distractions while the Federal Reserve and the Treasury roll out their little CBDC plan, and everyone's going to be like, oh my God, thank you so much, sir. Please, can I have some more? Now, I'm going to have something to drink. There's a Black Hawk helicopter flying over me now because I was too loud about all of that truth. It gets a little aggravating sometimes, Isaac.
It does. It does. It's understandable.
It gets a little aggravating, you know. There's so many distractions.
Reason.
What's that?
I said it's frustrating for good reason.
Yeah. So now let's talk about what's going on here. Altcoin, and is it over for alt season? Analysis by Brett_H shows this time is different, but there's no alt season in sight. People are trying to say there's no alt season in sight. Bitcoin's price has been starting to stabilize, do these stair steps up, and the dominance has continually moved up in tandem. And obviously, in cycles past, we've seen the dominance fall down and the parabolic hockey stick movement for Bitcoin happen as the dominance falls down. The mega hype and speculation zone is not here yet. And honestly, this is looking like a more sustainable path up into the right for Bitcoin. But not only that, I think utility-based altcoins are going to be doing just fine. As you know, those are some of my favorite sectors in altcoins to be looking at on the channel. Let's go look at the watch list and see how things are looking right now. I know Aerodrome was looking decent. There we go. Aerodrome up 7.5%. Plume trying to make a pump at 5%. Cardano, you dirty bird, get over 60 cents. Okay, call me when you're over 60 cents. Ondo, Chainlink, all sleepy. Morpho's actually been looking pretty good on the week, up 16%. So Morpho's been doing nice. These base plays, they're treating us right. While the rest of the altcoins are getting a little bit boring, Solana plays and base plays are the way. And you remember this, I said it for a year and a half. I wasn't spread out a bunch of different blockchains. I was talking about base and Solana plays being where the juice can be found here. And we're seeing that juice today. Let's go into the rest of this. We had this from Veteran Crypto. Looks like Base Hub is coming out with a major announcement this week. Potential rollouts of more integrations of their DEX, decentralized exchange, into Coinbase app. You know, how Base is going to be interacting with this, the things that Aerodrome is doing for that DEX to happen on Coinbase, but also Morpho. Morpho is the lending within Coinbase's app, and I think that they're going to see major institutional pushes towards that direction. Moonwell doing pretty good on a single day earlier this year. Lenders on Moonwell earned $758,000 in a single day. This is a lending app on Base. Moonwell, one of the top places for this to happen. And you know, the most important kind of intriguing thing about Moonwell for me, because you know I love Aave, you know I love Morpho. Moonwell has this aspect where you can get a literal account number and a routing number for a real bank integrated with Moonwell and the app within it. So Moonwell has some sneaky insights, some sneaky connections that I think that they're going to leverage through the course of this market here over the next few years, and really try to become a big player in this. Another new moving major player in decentralized exchanges is Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid just broke a $1.5 trillion in 1 year's volume, $300 million in cumulative revenue. Massive volume, $1.5 trillion. Moving onto a decentralized exchange, guys. Things are different this time, and they're different in a good way. 65% of USDC supply on Arbitrum L2 was deposited on Hyperliquid. So we've seen these great upswings with Arbitrum, but guess what? 65% of that USDC made it from Arbitrum, deposited onto Hyperliquid. there's a major reason for these two in tandem rising. And also, Arbitrum's doing that connection and integration down the road with Robinhood as well. There's lots of things to keep an eye on. Now decentralized exchange to centralized exchange battles heat up as the spot volume ratio hits a 27.9%. Users favor early listings and decentralized trading. Very, very interesting to see. Something that I think we need to continue and kind of foster the growth of this development on. Nice to see that Arbitrum is on the hyperliquid side, but they're also hooking up with the centralized side as well. And Arbitrum investors looks like selling Arbitrum in big chunks right now, even as price is moving. On-chain data from Look On Chain has shown that this wallet deposited 63 million ARB worth 19 million bucks to Binance, Bybit, and OKX. Major moves out. Early investors dumping the Arbitrum. Will be interesting to see if those insiders kind of mute the price action. Kind of like these things that happen to Polygon, which now leads in USDC monthly active user growth, but the price of the token, absolutely maddening. So this is where the insiders know IYKYK, and people that are sitting there waiting for that massive pump up, they see the pump up on a statistical move, 10-20%, but nothing like the 100% that they were expecting. Just always be taking profits, folks. Okay, profits are profits. Now, Isaac,
yes, sir.
What do you think? Is July 4th going to present any sort of major attack, any major false flag that we should be looking out for?
Mm-hmm. That's a tough question, because there's definitely a possibility of it, like the whole Jan 6 thing. It could happen. It could not happen. There's always going to be that speculation. Let's say if it does happen, right? Crypto and the stock market is going to take a little tumble, if not a serious tumble, because that's not the whole July 4th scenario that we're talking about here is not something that is being taken light of.
Right.
Obviously, you see in DC, they're like setting up for like this global biological weapon attack.
Right.
Well,
and they could be their messages that, we're doing renovations, we're just preparing for craziness maybe on July 4th, right? But those models and that test and that question, I mean, we always are running models and looking about what different scenarios like that might actually look like.
Mm-hmm.
We are sitting on a powder keg, though. Timeline wise, and kind of moments in polarization terms, we are sitting on a powder keg. So this is something that I'm thinking about, just being wary of. And I am on vacation as we're talking about this. Like, I'll be on vacation. I'm flying back on the 5th of July. I'm not letting it stop my life, my existence. Just being cognizant of it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Being prepared for potential unwindings of the market down to historic levels of lows where I can buy cheaper Bitcoin, make good trades from. Those things matter to me. But it's definitely a moment in time where we are culturally sitting on top of a powder keg. There is no other way to put it. And we have to be cognizant that, yes, things are a little hot right now. We have the momentary ceasefire with Iran. Okay, great. But, I think something larger, the reason to bring people to their knees and accept a government issued payment form, we're on the brink. We've seen insurance go nuts. We've seen the standard income setups from California. They're trying their own universal basic income in pockets of cities where the people are most, beat down. And they're obviously liberal cities, but these things, they hurt the average person across the country here. Talking about the reasons to bring the people to their knees to accept a CBDC, I think we're looking at a confluence of those coming together. We're seeing the Secretary Treasury, Scott Bessent, being very open and very bullish about where it's going on. They're moving towards the ability for the Treasury to print their own currency with a stable coin. That is where this is going. So it's going to be a very sneaky form of inflation. It's going to be a win only for the big guy. The little guy is not going to win out of this. we have to stay focused. We have to realize that we need self-sovereignty of Bitcoin, move decentralized folks as a power into centralization. It's a crazy, crazy time to be alive. We have to be very focused. There's been so much distraction, honestly. Like, I feel good that we covered this concept of the Genius Act in tandem with the conflict going on in Israel and Iran. It's hard to ignore when that size of bombs, that size of destruction is going on. But while all that was going on over the past few weeks, they're rolling out the rails for a CBDC. Now it's about giving the people the need, the final blow to their morale to get them to accept a government system digital currency. And that's what we got to think about here. What would be that linchpin that gets the system there? Be focused. This time is a very, very hilarious moment where attention is low. People's bags are low because they went chasing something else. And Bitcoin has literally been over $100,000 with the exception of a 98K blip for 50 days now. You know, it is absolutely ridiculous. So while all this is going on, inflation's getting worse. You guys got to remain focused, have preparedness goods together in case things get very, very heavy. Isaac, are
Sure.
you did your last set of testing on Friday, was it?
I have to finish. Well, yeah, everything's like set in stone now. I have to go back this week for the PFT, the physical like fitness test or whatever, and I have to finish the TAPIS because they didn't let me finish it the other day.
Gotcha.
But yeah, they just gave me an exemption form on Friday, so I was able to enlist and all that stuff. But I do have to go take that back. So yeah, I actually go there 2:30 today.
Woo.
And get everything sorted out. For people who don't know, didn't see my post on X the other day.
Yeah.
I leave on the 25th of August. So I'll be here for quite some time. So no worries there.
Man, it's coming up on us so quick, isn't it? You know, like that. I really respect like what you've been able to accomplish in learning about crypto, but having a balance of where, you know, we in crypto, we want to make a lot of money, we want to get a lot of things done and make money quickly, but it's about like having control of our crypto and that crypto being able to be transferred for goods. I think is what people kind of miss when they come to me and they're like, find me the most bullish crypto out there. It's like, it's Bitcoin because it's the one that we can hold outside of banks. Okay. It's pretty easy for me to, you know, start there because starting with the ethos, the understanding of that we can control the Bitcoin and it can't be yanked from us at any time. If some massive problem happens on a geopolitical scale, you know, we can still have ownership of that Bitcoin. I think that people are kind of missing the plot when it comes to Bitcoin, when it comes to why I Bitcoin, because that really is the main driving factor for me. It's not that the number go up so much and I love number go up so much. It's that that number is mine, you know.
Yeah.
It's just something that I got to think about and try to figure out a way to emphasize to people out there. Now, let's hop on over to the trading charts here. Let's see if we can snag one off. I don't know. While right as we watched, it started to reverse on us, man.
Yeah, that it went all the way down to 106.69
Yep.
and ran away from there.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. It's starting to run once again. This is the 4 hour. This lower band right here is the MACD. Hasn't flipped back to the upside yet, but honestly looks very much so like it wants to do that. Woo, just a wild, wild washout. Look at that. That'll give any trader gray hair and blue balls right there. 1.2% to the upside. Complete washout back down to this main level 107.2. Again to the upside here. This has been absolutely insane. 1.5%. Now a wash down. And from that 108.8, we're down now. That lowest is only 2%. Look at that. 1.9% is all that is. Still given that hardcore whiplash. This is that windshield wiper. I think that's a good analogy Josh uses. This is market makers trying to flush people off of the order books here before the next ascension. this bottom band, this 106.4 level. I don't know if we're going to get it, Isaac.
I don't think we will. I think today is too much of a bullish day as of right now.
Yeah.
We're
It's
kind
the
of just hanging
momentum.
out. Yeah.
The
What is
momentum.
they're asking who asked this? Let me look. About the Bitcoin dominance graph. Yeah, Steve asked for the
Let's check it out.
dominance graph here.
Let's check it out. I'm assuming it's up. Oh man, drop a little bit.
Not
So we went
bad.
all the way up to 66% flat, just about. Now we're at 65.3. Yeah, I mean, still way up though. Still way up. It would have to, like, because it's already broken out of this previous 65.3 spot. It's a pretty important level in general. It'd be interesting to see if this starts to roll over, see if money flow is showing a slight sign of weakness. Slight sign of weakness on money flow here. But really not. I mean, it's been gaining and gaining. Like, it's hard to be bearish on Bitcoin dominance when I see it just retaining so much, ETF control. When you control like ETF profits, like the way that Bitcoin ETFs have, it's hard to stop the media FOMO for it, man. Because that's where Wall Street's like, shit, what are they doing over there? We better start putting attention on this thing, this product, get our salesmen ready for this thing, which is Bitcoin ETFs, and go, talk to their clients about it because they're seeing the upside. So it's hard to bet against this Bitcoin dominance graph. Really, that main 70% mark, terrifying for altcoins. Don't write it out as impossible, though, because Bitcoin showing that quite a bit is possible. Aerodrome having a nice day here. Let's go, Aerodrome. Still moving on up. Let's see the biggest stuff in the folio. Biggest mover is Aerodrome. Man, oh man, that's good signs. That is good signs. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm just kind of snooping around for entry points. Kind of enticed. Maybe I go put in a trade on that Solana graph. Potentially a short. If I'm scalping it. Let's see here. Let's check it out. Maybe this is the day I do a trade on a freaking altcoin, right? Get wet and wild with it. Get wet and wild. Let's go here. What's that?
So wet and wild.
Oh, it's gonna be huge. Let's make this smaller. I gotta go here. Bam. God, do we go put a trade in on XRP?
Oh, hell no. If it's a short.
Huh. All right. Solana's trying to peter out momentarily. I mean, I think that honestly, it could give this whole damn thing up. It could give this whole damn thing up.
100% could. It most likely will.
We know Wintermute hates Solana holders. I know this for sure. Let's see here. Let's go to the liquidity.
Liquidity.
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck. Oh, am I doing this?
Are you shorting Solana right now?
No, I mean, look at what's below it.
I know. That is a lot.
That is a lot, bro. All right.
Is that on Binance?
Yeah, I'm shorting it. I'm shorting.
16. It's actually not as a decent bit.
I'm shorting just a little bit.
That's a good bit.
I'm not gonna do this 20x though.
Oh heck no.
I'm going 9x. All right, so here. All right, so I got, what am I gonna fire off? About $700. A small short. I gotta get some chips in the game.
And there's gonna be a little 1 minute scalp short on what's the name? Big Tip Shark.
You are banned.
Fucking thick. All right, here we go. See, if you made it this far into the show, this is where you get to see degeneracy on male horoscope /
Oh, we're losing. Will we actually get this $106,400 level? Interesting. We're coming back down.
Roll out on Bitcoin too.
Just a small one right now. Could be more though.
Let's see Solana. I want to show my where's my position? Why isn't it showing it? How do I do that? This thing is different on all kinds. Computers, phone. Here we go. Here, let's see. No, it's not giving me it. Positions. You know what? Oh, did I just do a market or a limit order?
I don't know, but I also put another.
You are banned.
What are you doing with people out there? Here it is. It's an open order. I want to do market. I'm fucking doing this. Let's see here. Did we lose anything? Let's see here. Because I mean, this looks like hella bought, hella overextended.
It looks like it does want to grab that liquidity though.
It does, doesn't it? All right, I'm just gonna do a little bit. Because I mean, it looks, to the downside. It looks a little weak. Just let's do. How much was it? Like $800. Oh, come on! Did I actually just do another limit order? I didn't change this. I just did another limit order.
No, you didn't open it.
Oh, okay. Open short. Lordy, it resets me again. Will you just do what I wanted you to do? All right, there we go. All right, let's see if it rolls over. We'll see if that rolls over a bit. That'll be interesting. Because I can't.
Sir, something happened to your microphone there. I just kind of cut out. I want to check your settings, probably.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Is it working?
Yes, sir.
You know what it is I touched the line.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll see if this plays out here. We got the order in. Positions in. Probably. Oh, my God. We're up by $1.
0.2%.
Or exactly flat line. So my entry point on this is 15743, and I'm maybe looking for like the middle ground of this pump at around 105.39, basically like 105.4.
153.
I think 153.
Yeah, well, you said 105.
Oh yeah, 153.
That's a crash.
Yeah, I could look for that.
153.
Like not like giving up the whole, but at least, a good half of this move.
Yeah, at least like reset a little bit before it heads back up, like a normal healthy chart.
I could definitely see something like that. Like this. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Because look, if it fell down there, and if Solana could bounce off of 105.4, that'd essentially be that freaking on the top end of this like kind of local channel here and the volume node. So male astrology, we'll see if it works. It only gives you an edge. It's not 100%. Not 100%. I had to fire up something. I had to get the trading wheels going again. This thing has not moved anywhere from my entry point. See if this goes. I wonder if the chat believes in this trade, or am I being mean to this altcoin? Am I picking on Steve-O's altcoin too much?
No, you're just shorting the top, which is what good short traders do.
Well, this could easily wreck. I mean, I would be pleased and surprised if we could break out of this 170 range within this move. Like, usually I see heinous chop up and down on these things. It's got to break 170 to really start getting that momentum, bro. And then, all the top blasters, they're going to be celebrating if we get to that $200 level again. This is the main volume node. This is the pain node. The pain node of Solana and crypto as we know it sits at $235 a unit.
Bad Fox says, I hope you get wrecked on this one. Just
I
little
knew I would. I'd be hurting
sleepy
someone's feelings with this one.
astrology for men.
Oh yeah, dude.
Song's
Matty
so
B
good.
is the best. Matty B is the best. All right, we have 2%.
We need to get him on. We need to get him on the show again.
We should,
It's
bro.
been way too long.
We should. Let's see. This actually might play out really quite nicely. I mean, that's a hell of a move. That's a hell of a move. The rest of the market's kind of sleepy. It'd make all the sense in the world to come back down, because look at that little volume. This is a teleportation zone, bros and ladies. 156 down to 154. There ain't nothing between the flow and So I'm about ready to shoot. That might actually turn out pretty nicely there. I'm liking it. All right, well, let's go over to BitLab Academy and see if Drew's about to get wrecked. So
I know. Let's do it.
Yeah, ask him in the chat, is Drew cooked? Or did we just short the top? I love and appreciate every single one of you. Isaac,
Yes, sir.
good to see you on the show again.
Yep. I like the new backgrounds. It's a little change up. It's kind of nice. You got the nice scenery. That's a beautiful tree behind you, by the way.
Pretty great. You can't even see it. There's like a pond over there, and it's a really nice spot here out in Colorado. It's beautiful outside. I love and appreciate you. It's a great day to be in crypto. Go tell Kelly at BitLab Academy you said hello from the blockchain basement. I love and appreciate every single one of you out there, and I'll see you on the next show. Take care, you guys.